We all have big dreams, right? These big, lofty dreams of ours that we want to accomplish in life. And just as we dream, we want our kids to dream as well. We want them to think big. And we want to pass that thought process that we have as adults onto our kids, right? Well, how do we do that? I'm Sunny with New Mommy Media, and I'm here with Ty Allan Jackson. He's a children's book author and a motivational speaker. Hey, Ty, thanks for being with us today.
Hey, Sunny, I am so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, Ty, we all want our kids to think big. Kind of a obvious question, but I'd love to hear your answer on this. Why is that important? Like, why do we want them to think as big as they possibly can? How does that help?
Oh my gosh, that is such a big, broad question.
It is.
I think in this day and age when kids are so visually centric, whether it's YouTube or Netflix or, video games, I think they're constantly inundated with images that they're given as opposed to creating their own. And I think the more that we encourage our kids to dream, whether we provide them with books or give them a sense of creativity, it allows them to kind of create their own universe and be their own person, to like discover the planet their own way. There's 7 billion people on this planet and none of us see the world quite the same. And so, the more objective we have our children, the more open-minded we have our children, the more we allow them to be creative and forward-thinking, the more they see the world for what it is. It's this big, beautiful, diverse place with so many scopes and landscapes of different foods and cultures and energy. And that's why I think it's so important for our children to get outside. To travel and see the world, and it allows them and us to get outside of what I said in the hood when I was living in the projects in the Bronx. Get out of your 16 blocks and get to see what's out there, out into the world. And so, having our kids dream big is also aligned with having them live big.
Yeah, totally. It's so funny you said that because one of the things that my family likes to do, there is a family on YouTube. They have their own YouTube channel, and I'll give them a little plug here. It's called Trying Something New. And They took their kids out of traditional school. I think it was like a couple years ago. And they have been traveling the world. I think now they might be on a boat. So they rented this boat and they're living on a boat. But they would just go to different countries and they would live in those countries. And for a while they had an RV that they were taking around, but they just experience life. And some people kind of question that, they're like, oh, their kids aren't in school or whatever. And I'm thinking, do you know what kind of education those kids are getting? Like, they are seeing the real world, because the real world isn't necessarily what you read on a piece of paper. It's what you experience. And my husband and I watch it and we're like, oh, could we do that? I don't know. That would be really cool. Could we actually do something like that? But that's just one example of them encouraging their kids to think in a different way and to think as big as they possibly can.
Yeah, I don't think there's a greater education than the one that you get outside of the school walls. I mean, that's the greatest education happens in life when the sun is touching your face on whatever side of the planet that you're on and the people that you're engaging with when you're doing that. So golf clap to that family. I don't know who they are, but I'm certainly going to go and follow them. I appreciate anyone that can get out of the dynamic of what our culture says we're supposed to do, and just, finds their own way of living life. I can't wait to see what those kids become in their future and that are experiencing the world in such a profound and broad way. I mean, that's an education I would gladly turn over outside of going to PS or IS or high school, whatever. Yeah, well, I'm about that life. I want to see if they'll adopt me. I love that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think we all do.
Yeah.
Ty, what about failing, or quote unquote, I don't want to call it failing, but quote unquote failing at something?
Sure.
Because when we encourage our kids to think super duper big, then there's always that risk of not achieving whatever you set out to do. And I'll say, just like in my own life, sometimes I'll do like a new project or something like that. And people are like, wow, those are really big goals. And I always tell them, I'm like, if this is, my big goal, I might not completely hit that, but I might hit here, which is better than, what other people might aim for down here. So it always lifts me up and gets me closer to that, even if I don't hit it exactly.
I can tell you as an entrepreneur, two of my favorite allies are fear and failure. Those are two of the things that I actually love the most because I never learn more than when I'm fearful of something and conquer it, and when I fail at
Yeah.
something and get over it. And so those are two of the biggest, like every fear and failure, I literally tell the universe, thank you. Thank you for this lesson. Thank you for this gift. Thank you for this opportunity. The fear may allow me to go, maybe that's not the direction that I want. Or even better, I love being scared. I love the opportunity. When I'm nervous about something, that tells me I'm moving in the right direction because we should all be uncomfortable getting uncomfortable. I mean, like when you go to the gym and you work out your muscles, the next day your body's sore. You know what that is?
Right.
Growth. Fear and growth are synonymous. Like that's what growth is. And failure is the exact same thing. Like we need to fail. We need to skin our knee. That's how we get back on that bike and get on it so that we can be successful at it. And so, yeah, I think when we talk to our children about fear and failure as allies and not adversaries, then kids will say every time that they fail on something like, wow, I know exactly what I did wrong. And next time I know I can get it right. Or if I'm really fearful of something, maybe I need to be more informed about it so that I have a better understanding of what it is, or I just need to pull back away. But both fear and failure are the greatest allies if you're going to become successful in life, because there are no successful entrepreneurs in the history of humanity that have not failed or been fearful.
I mean, it's interesting because we don't always hear about their failures. We hear about the success stories, right? But how many times did they try, to make a light bulb before, they actually succeeded? We don't hear about all the failure stuff. But it's funny you said that because it was just the other day. I can't remember, something happened at my kid's school and they quote unquote failed at something. And I said, you know what? You're going to learn so much more from this experience than if you had been successful. And he's like, nah, well, he still wasn't happy about the whole situation, but it's true. It's like we take more notice, and we change things, we learn, we grow, we get out of that comfort zone, and we become better as a result.
And not only that, but failure will also determine whether or not you really want to do this. Because if you failed at it and you really love it, you're going to go and run through that wall again until you get through it. And it may take you 10 times to run through that wall. But every time you run through it, you want it a little bit more. And, for the kids that want to be the next Taylor Swift, when they pull out that guitar and they start stinking at playing guitar, if they only do it 1 or 2 times, it's not meant to be. But that kid that sticks with it for years and years and years, that they're destined to become, the next Taylor Swift, the next Elon Musk, the next Beyonce. Because the ones that stick to it and fail time and time again, those are the ones that get the tough skin and figure out how to overcome and eventually become great.
Yeah, they get a little bit better each time, and that keeps them going. That keeps them motivated until they reach their goal.
100%.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Ty. Great information. This is Ty's book, everyone. If you want to check it out, it's called Make Your Own Money. You can get a copy on his website, which is tyallanjackson.com. And while you're there, head on over to our website. It is newmommymedia.com. We've got some more great information for you over there. It's where real moms talk about real life.